welcome to Sunday Sips with the Scribbler set. I'm Dee, and I'm feeling kind of thirsty.
I'm C, and I'm feeling sparkly.
I'm B, and I'm feeling dark.
So if you can't guess, we're vampires today. We're talking about the undead, the sexy undead. Because I love vampires. I don't know if you can tell, but I freaking love vampires. And I'm so excited to talk about vampires this week. So it is Sunday Sips. What are you guys sipping on? I have some blood, also known as coffee. Coffee.
I'm fake sipping today because I just wanted to show this relic, which is a vitamin water from when the movie Eclipse came out. So this is from 2010.
Probably as thick as blood by this point.
I was about to say.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend drinking it. It has some particles. It's never been opened. I also have some snacks from the New Moon era. Never been opened.
Probably turn you into a vampire for sure by
At
this point.
You turn into something.
What are you sipping on there? Water. So vampires. It's something I've loved in literature for a very long time. I don't know why they get me Twitter pated. I think maybe it's the idea of never aging. I don't know. And also because vampires are just like usually hot. Like I have yet to see like where vampires are just depicted as like super ugly. Like they have to have something to lure you in, right?
Watch Supernatural.
He was still like a fake, like he still like had lots of ladies, Mr. Dracula. He had a whole harem. Yeah, well, I like me some vamps. So vampires in history, another phenomenon that if you look through different cultures, like they talk about vampires, like different names for vampires, but they exist throughout history and throughout the world. And I think that's pretty interesting. Are vampires real? If they are, I live here. Come visit. I would like to stop the aging process now, please.
So if a vampire poached you and offered you eternal life, just gotta suck your blood. You can live forever. You also have to live off of blood. You can't go into the sun. Would you say yes or would you say no?
Yes.
Teacher would say yes. Brittany?
I mean, yes. I don't know, honestly. Like, if you had asked me 10 years ago, I probably would have been wholeheartedly yes. But now I'm like kind of on the edge.
I think it would be a no for me. Probably same. If early 20 Shantae prefrontal lobe would have been like, absolutely. 30s Shantae is like, I mean, aging is a blessing and living forever sounds terrifying because then you got to watch everyone you love passing. Like,
yeah. And I'll be like, hey guys, do you want to join me in my vampiric lifestyle?
Say no.
Yeah, well, if everybody says no, they say no. That's their choice.
You just like, I love you, but
well, I mean, I'll be in your life until you go.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to be a vampire, don't be a vampire. For me, I'm like the idea of just being able to see what the world becomes.
See, that's the thing that gets me. That's why I'm on the fence, because it's like, you know how many things that I could do in a like forever. Like I could learn to do all the things that I ever wanted to do, but then I'm just like, but at what cost, you know? So
here's the caveat that I have. Like, so if I become a vampire, do I like get like superpowers? Am I like strong? Do I have like these abilities? Am I like the hottest version of myself? Because if so,
yes.
absolutely. If it's like you're gonna be feeling how but you get to live forever.
Like, exactly. Are you a Twilight vampire that gets extra hot and gets extra strong and gets extra fast, or are you an Interview with the vampire who's stuck forever at your state? Like when she tries to cut her hair and it grows back, like you can't change anything about yourself, like physical being.
Yeah, those are the kinds of questions I need to have answered.
Yeah,
I 100%
or True Blood, Jessica, she was turned when she was still a virgin. So for the rest of her life, she was a virgin. So she had to feel that every time she had sex, like, and it was painful every time she had sex.
That's awful. Or what if I was turned and I have Crohn's? Like, if I get turned, does that get cured? Because I feel like at that point, I'm drinking blood. So,
Possibly.
See, and these are the questions that need to be asked before you make the agreement. But I would be very open to it. Very open.
What kind of deal you got for me?
I'm in. Let's do this.
I would be like, hell no. To the no. I'm not doing it. However, today I am portraying a Bella Swan yassification prom Bella who got her way. You see, it's a circle. It's not the 2 dots because they don't have fangs in Twilight. It's just.
I'm just going to
if Bella got her way at prom and became a vampire, I even have the Bella dress.
So that leads into my question. Who are your favorite literary vampires?
Gosh, there's so many.
There is a lot.
Lestat has to be top.
I was literally
that's mine.
Yeah, I feel like across the board, Lestat is always gonna top. Okay, you hear me? Get what I'm saying? Lestat. But yeah. I love Twilight. I'm a Twihard for life. And yeah, if I have to pick in the Twilight world who my favorite vampire was, I would have to go with Alice. I loved Alice. When the movies first came out, I cut my hair to try and get Alice vibes and did the whole yeah. So Alice.
I am not gonna lie. I liked Rosalie. She was not everyone's favorite at first, but then when you learn her reasoning for why she is like that, I was like, you know what? Yeah. She was the only one that was trying to keep it real with Bella. Like, yeah, you want this, but do you really want it? Yeah. So I liked her.
Yes. I'm Bella. I'm like, Charlie. Here.
No.
So for me, it's Lestat and Louis, Interview with the Vampire. I feel like they're the perfect combination of badass and sad boy. And those, yes. Those are my kryptonite. Are you a badass and are you also a little sad? I love it. Let me hug you.
You sound like Haley.
It just it enthralling.
Spike is up there too.
Well, he's not literary. That's just
true
show. We're talking about book vampires right now.
My bad.
So yeah, Lestat and Louis were my obsession. I remember reading Interview with a Vampire. I was probably way too young. I think I had to be 11 or 12 when I read it. And it's pretty intense. But I was obsessed, and I was even though Claudia's story is awful, I was a child. I was they're gonna bite me and turn me into their child, but their lover too. In my head.
So you started young. You were
it's
this is the life.
I really fully believe. And then after I watched Interview with the Vampire, you couldn't tell me that they were not coming to visit me. I was guys, I'm ready. Whenever you are, I'm ready. Are you waiting until I'm of age? It's okay. Come get me. In my mind, I was very dead set on them. So yeah, Deluluville, that was me.
Yes.
So we mentioned non-literary vampires, which I guess technically Spike kind of is because they wrote Buffy the Vampire Slayer books. So, but his original form was show. But movie vamps.
He was hacked. Young me, that was mine. Spike. When him and Buffy started doing it, I was like,
yeah.
I was fully into Spike, the former bad boy. In general, I love the trope of like the bad guy who will burn the world for his person. Like that's what I do not want the hero who will let his person fall to save the world. I want the bad guy who will burn down the world to save his person. And I feel like that was unequivocally Spike, and I loved it. So nope, don't want no Angel. I want Spike.
I agree.
I am gonna go and say, and this is probably gonna be real crazy. I got two. So there's Damon Salvatore, which
Another one who will burn the world
he
for his
was
person.
my favorite.
Yes.
But then when you
Stefan.
Yeah, when you entered in Klaus Michelson, I was like, I know this is toxic, but boy, the way he killed those people in that show, and I was like, and Caroline, I was
we were robbed. We were robbed.
I know.
Yes.
No, that was the one romance I was like, please let it end in this.
Yes.
Please. Even in the originals. Yes. I was like, let Klaus and Caroline get together. And they did that BS. And I was so mad. I watched
thought they could just replace her with some random blonde girl and we would be satisfied.
No. They robbed us 100%.
Yeah.
Now I gotta rewatch the show, guys. I gotta do it.
It is one of those shows like I love rewatching, especially Vampire Diaries from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So episode 1, I know we all watch Stranger Things, and in the most recent season when they have the Kate Bush song. Mm-hmm. So actually, it's also there's a cover of it in episode 1 of Vampire Diaries, and it's so good. It's really good.
I'm gonna have to freaking go back and watch because I don't remember that. I've been trying to get Haley to watch it with me for forever, so I'm gonna have to get her to sit down and be like, we're doing a mother-daughter like vampire show watch.
It's one of those shows that it's hard to get people to sit through the first season.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying because I never got into it, and I started and I was just like,
girl,
it came out during like that vampire craze with like Twilight and all that, so it was like it hit at the perfect time for me personally, I know. But then like trying to get people to watch it now and get through, because like the first season it's kind of rickety, but because it has that like when you know where it's gonna go, it's fun rewatching.
And there's so many good-looking vampires. Yeah. If you love vampires,
I'll give it another try.
Klaus, stick around for Klaus. Stick around for Klaus.
Do you remember Enzo? I feel like they didn't give him enough shine.
Enzo. You know who I liked from the originals? Marcel.
Oh, yes. Girl, don't get me started. He was when he popped up in the show, I was like,
who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. Sorry.
We have zero chill.
Oh man.
I don't know. Like it was hard for me. I think because like all those shows were on air at a time before streaming was like big.
Yeah.
So I just never like at that phase of my life, like I just was not watching TV regularly. So it was hard for me to get into any of those any of those shows. So now I'm like, I need to revisit this and try to give it another chance. We'll see.
Watch it from the lens of the time period. Try not to judge it based on today's graphics or anything. Like,
yeah,
give it a chance.
I'm gonna tell you guys.
I love like that angsty. I know this is gonna. People are going to be judging me when I say this, but I love a good love triangle, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Although I do feel like Vampire Diaries, I feel like their love triangle was a bit better than Twilight's, personally.
Yeah.
That's shocking to hear you say.
Just because Jacob, to me, like, I wish they would have left him as a friend. As like just a really good supportive friend for her. Like if they were going to introduce a love triangle, I wish it would have been someone else. I really appreciated her and Jacob's friendship, and I kind of felt like it did get a little bit tainted by having the aspect of like, oh, now he's like madly in love with her and stuff. Like it's like kind of makes it like, oh, a man can't ever really fully be there for a female. because there's always going to be that underlying. But I don't know. I just kind of wish they would have stayed friends. But it was fun to watch. I kind of
wish they would have just got together instead of her and Edward. But Team Jacob forever.
I always thought Jacob was.
I'm Team Jacob for Team Edward.
Yeah,
Bella.
Yeah, I always loved Jacob, like his character, but I didn't necessarily think he was the best for Bella. Because like the thing is, the heart wants what the heart wants. Like you can't force yourself to be like, I love you now, Jacob, just because you're great and you're amazing and you would probably be really good for me. Like I still want Edward. Like you can't so
yeah.
I don't know.
I know. So I've been like, come on, Bella, just bring me into the screen. I'll take him off your hands.
The weirdest vampire story I ever read, which has been in my head, and I'm like, am I going to talk about this or am I not going to talk about this? So I read this anthology book, and it was like vampire stories, and this one story, and I can't remember the name of it, but it like always creeped me out, and it's so gross, and you guys are probably gonna be like, why are you telling us? Because I have to get it out into the world. Someone else needs to know about this creepiness. Okay. But there was a vampire, and he would go after women that were on their periods, and that was like how he fed. Like he didn't ever bite anybody.
There's a Netflix show where that happens. Hold on, let me Google. It's like
I know what show you're talking about. There, they did make a show, but it's not based off of that story. Because then the other thing, like
Hemlock Grove. If you ever want to see a scene where that actually happens, Hemlock Grove with Bill Skarsgård. Because I was like, I always wondered about Bella getting on her period, how he could handle it.
Oh my gosh, there's so many memes about that online. It's awful.
Well, that was this book because it was an erotica book, and that was like his thing was like he only targeted women that were on their periods, and like so have like flings with them during that time, or he'd come back like once a month to the same, like had like a harem, like a rotation, a rotation.
Good for him.
But yeah, I was also very young when I read that.
Oop. Is that why you were so eager to get your period?
I love it.
Did you read that? It was like, oh, this is what happens? Yes.
Thank God.
Sign me up for my period.
Here I come.
I had a lot of really weird ideas that I pulled from books. Mom and Dad, you guys should have done better. I was impressionable.
Don't watch this episode.
I cannot with you guys.
But yeah,
that's hilarious.
So there's that. So vampires. Do you think, since we asked for ghosts, if you believe that ghosts are real, do you think vampires exist?
I wish they did. When I was younger and I wanted to be turned into a vampire, I would get online. You know how you do like Yahoo chat or whatever. Yeah, I'm that old. But
oh, it's not the age. It's the fact that what you're about to say is throwing me.
No, but I was like going to be like, oh, I met this one guy that tried to convince me that he was a vampire, and I was like, oh, you want to change me? There's some creeps out there that think it's real, and part of me had me believing that yes, maybe he was, but I don't think they're real in the sense that we think that they're real. I think it's something different.
You said no, Shantae.
No, I don't think so. I think vampires were birthed out of the obsession with immortality. I don't think that they're real.
All right, so vampires, amazing. I love them. They make me happy. You didn't say if you
think they're real or not.
Oh, so do I think vampires are real? I think there's a such thing as emotional vampires. Those are real.
Absolutely.
I think that if there's a vampire that actually, there's parasites, there's like vampiric parasites. Do I think there's a possibility Could be. I don't know everything in the world. Have I ever witnessed it? No. And if I was a vampire, it'd have to be like top secret because you don't want anybody to try taking your stuff. So possibly. Most likely, no. And not in the forms that we believe or have read in like literature and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think I don't know everything. That's my answer.
Maybe in another dimension or time something. I don't know. I'm weird.
But if you are real vampires, I'm just putting it out there again, I would like to know the fine print, but I'd be in. And on that note, thank you for joining us for the Scribbler set. Don't forget to submit your ghost stories. We are excited to read them. And, this spooky season, we're being spooky dooky and spooky dooky.
That's what I call it when you go poop and then you try to wipe and it comes out clean. Spooky dooky.
I'm a child. I'm gonna.
So we're not being spooky dooky. We're being spooky ooky. And we really do look forward to seeing you guys' stories, your ghost stories, and sharing our ghost stories with you. Next week, we'll be back talking about werewolves and shapeshifters. Oh, no, actually, no, we're going to be talking about horror stories for you guys. So tips on how to write good horror stories, because what's happening right now is a horror story. We have experience. And so we're going to share those tips with you. Until next time, we'll see you again.